Hello and welcome to this semester, spring 2023. Can you believe it? Time flies, time evaporates. All right, we're going to learn all about medical terminology, which is a complex language used in healthcare. And regardless of what role you will play in your career, and remember that you are always going to be a patient at some point in your life or the loved one of a patient. It's important for us to understand this language. Now, medical terminology is a combination of Latin and Greek, rolled up with a little bit of French and Spanish and English. Okay? So give yourself a break. Nobody is raised from birth learning medical terminology. So, however many languages you speak, this is not your first language. And I want you to take it one step at a time, because that is what is going to help you learn and understand. Okay? So, let's get started in this course. All right? Important things that you need to know. You only have 2 absences permitted across the 16 weeks. As soon as you hit that 3rd week with not doing any work in the course, you will be withdrawn. So you didn't do all this paperwork and everything to get admitted and come into this course for that to happen. Okay? So no more than 2, and 0 is even better because it means you're learning and you're understanding and you're engaged and whatever. Okay, homework testing, you have 1 reopen. Whether it's because you didn't like your grade, or whether it's because you forgot there was a quiz or an assignment, or whether whatever, okay? Whatever, okay. All right. You get 1 do-over. Or do, okay? That's it. Deadlines, each and every week, that week's work is due by Monday, 11:59 p.m. Now remember, you're not just entering or looking to enter into just any industry. You're looking to enter healthcare. And showing up is very important. And whether you are in the health information management track, or nursing track, or medical assisting, or massage therapy, or surge tech, or pharma, it doesn't matter, okay? We literally work with patients' lives. You gotta show up. You gotta show up. And you gotta meet your deadlines. Okay? Use Chrome for best access to the course. Whether you're a Microsoft person or a Macintosh person, Apple, doesn't matter. Everybody has Chrome. It's available to you for free. Do not use the others, because then you're going to get frustrated. And, you know... life brings its own frustrations. You don't really need to be volunteering for additional frustrations, okay? All right, the grading scale. You need a minimum of 74.5 overall grade to pass this course. That is 74.5. That's not 74.3. That's not 70. It's 74.5. Better 80, 85, 90. That's good, because then you're learning and then you're really getting it. But don't forget, I am right here by your side. I am here to help you. You are not alone, okay? And speaking of not being alone, each and every week on Thursday at 1 o'clock, we are going to have a live session. Just like this, only hopefully you'll be here with me. I'm only recording this without you because it's week 1, and it's just too close. The course starts on Wednesday. expecting you to put this in your schedule for Thursday is a little much, okay? So I'm giving you a little bit of breather, all right? But every single week, okay? Email, maybe not, but absolutely under content in your course, you will see Zoom, and then you see here, look at the picture, under content header, go to Zoom, and you will have the Zoom links, and then each week when I do one of these sessions, I will record it. So if for some reason you cannot attend, or if you want to listen to it again, the recording will be right there. Okay? So that way you can review and really let it sink in. Okay? So not so much email. That's an error under content. But just put it on your calendar right now. Put it in Thursday, 1 o'clock, medical terminology, live chat, and then repeat weekly for the next 16 weeks. Okay? Yeah, that's the way we do it. All right. Please, 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 please. You know, we work with technology. This obviously is an online course. And the truth of the matter is technology is an incredible blessing. It gives us so much access. It gives us ability to do things that 10, 20, 30 years ago couldn't dream of. Okay? However, sometimes technology goes, yeah, I'm not so interested in doing my job today. So you need a contingency plan. If you lose power in your house or your neighborhood, or you lose internet service, which happens, I want you now, today, to create a list of family, friends, or neighbors where you might be able to use their internet service or maybe even their computer, just so you can come into the course, check what do I have to do this week. Then you can sometimes work offline, or you're going to have assignments in Connect or MindTap. I'm sorry. If you have a laptop, well, the public library, they're back open again, and they have computers that you can use to access the internet. So that's a possibility. So check out their hours and the location, of course. Local restaurants, if you have a laptop, you can go to McDonald's, Wendy's, Panera. There are so many places that have free Wi-Fi. And, so you buy a soda and you just sip it the whole time while you're doing your work. It's okay. People do that. They know that. Okay. In addition, if your computer dies, which also happens because not only does software go flunky, but hardware cannot. I'm not in the mood to work this week. That's what it says. All right. So again, family, friends, neighbors, where you can go over there and use their computer for a little while. If you have an Aaron Rent-A-Center or any of those furniture rent-a-places, most of them are now also renting laptops, computers by the week. So that would help you. And don't forget, if you live within range of actual CCTC campus, there's a computer lab that's got a computer and internet connection that you can use. So contingency plan is laid out to keep you connected and to keep you learning, because this is an incredible foundation for your upcoming career. Speaking of which, I strongly recommend a paper medical dictionary. Because while you're working on the computer on assignments, I want you to be able to reach for that dictionary. And sometimes when you're taking quizzes, you can't click off to go to a dictionary website, which I provided you here. But look at this. You can get a paperback medical dictionary for less than $10 on Amazon. And there are lots of other places as well. There's really no reason not to buy a used one because, they really haven't changed the language in about 2,000 years. Well, they've added stuff, okay? So don't get a 2,000-year-old medical dictionary, but you can get one that's a couple of years old. Look at that at the bottom, $2.30. Okay, so the point is, this is going to help you tremendously because I want you to build the habit that when you approach a term, a word, and you have no idea what it means, or even if you have a little idea of what it means, I want you to reach for that dictionary and look it up. I do this, okay? And if I was right, that's what that meant, I do a little happy dance. Woo, 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 yay, I'm smart. Okay? And if I was wrong, then I get to learn the correct definition, and nobody knows that I didn't know it. Come on, right? For less than $10? Are you kidding me? People will think you're smart. You'll think you're smart. And the important thing is that that's one of the important methods to learning a new language is repetition, repetition, repetition. You cannot sit down and just memorize all these words and these definitions unless you're Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory or Spencer Reed from Criminal Minds, okay? The fact is that looking up that same word 5 times is going to build that accurate definition into your brain until now you know it and you know it correctly. Okay? So this is smart. This is working smarter, not harder, for less than $10. It's fantastic. All right. So another thing you're going to learn in this class is how to parse or break apart medical terms. And I'm sure you've seen some medical terms that are incredibly long. I mean, like they use every letter in the entire alphabet, sometimes 4 or 5 times, okay? And so one of the things you're going to learn, especially in these first couple of weeks, is you're going to learn how to break apart, not all, but a lot of the words so you can figure out what it means if the dictionary is not handy, okay? So the prefix is the adjective, like smart. The root is the anatomical site, like brain. And suffix is the condition or the circumstance, okay? Because for the most part, except for preventive care, the fact is that the healthcare industry deals with people who are not working well. One of their body systems is not working well, or one of their organs is not working well, or something, right? And that's one of the things that you're going to learn in the process of this course. I think it's exciting. Okay. So for example, you have a prefix. That's the first part of the word. Now, not all medical terms have prefixes, but when there is one, by learning what they mean, it helps you figure out what the term means. So if it starts with ankle, now not ankle as in the part between your leg and your foot, not that ankle. This is ankle, A-N-K-Y-L, is a prefix. It's not a whole word. And it means fused or stiffened. Okay? Anti, A-N-T-E. Not A-N-T-I, which means against or the opposite. A-N-T-E, which means in front of or before. Like, for example, if you ever heard in the South, we have a lot of beautiful homes that are known as antebellum homes. Well, ante, A-N-T-E, means before, and bellum refers to the period of time in the United States around the Civil War. So antebellum homes are homes that were built before the Civil War. You see how these little tiny bits of knowledge can really, really help you. Gyne, Gyne, means woman or female. And those of you who are woman or female know that on occasion you may go to the gynecologist, which means woman or female. Cologist, ologist is a person who studies that. Okay? And tachy is fast or rapid, Tachy. And some of you might be into cars, so you know you have a tachometer on your dashboard, which tells you how fast your engine is running. Tachy, fast, rapid, tachometer, measure, tachymeter, meaning measures speed, but not the speedometer, the tachometer. Okay, so you see how this combination language can really help you connect, and sometimes it has the same meaning as you may use in other situations, in other uses. Just be careful, okay? All right, the root is the anatomical site. So there is a root term, which is part of a word, which refers to every pieces, parts of your entire body. All right? Sometimes it's easy, like cardio, heart. For any of you who do exercise, you do cardio. Aerobics is cardio exercise because it exercises your heart, right? So that could be easy. But then we have salping, which means the fallopian tubes within a woman. You know, those are those little 4-inch tubes that are the highway between the ovaries for the egg to go dropping down into the uterus. It's also the nightclub where Mr. Sperm and Miss Egg meet up in the fallopian tubes to make a little zygote. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. All right. Myo means muscle. Nephro, Nephro, is kidney. And that can be easily confused with neuro, which is nervous system. So this gives me the opportunity to remind you that you have to really, really pay attention to all the letters in the word, and don't just start reading it and assume. That'll get you in big trouble, because sometimes you can have two terms that both have like 20 letters in them, and they're identical except for one letter, and that one letter can really change the meaning of the word. So remember that in healthcare, every one of us, again, no matter what your role, accuracy is job one, and you must pay attention. And one good way to do that is point to the word, and that will help your eye specifically look at that one thing instead of trying to read the whole page at the same time. And it will help your brain digest the terms a lot better. And last are the suffixes. That's the end of the word that will explain to you what is going on with this patient. You know, for example, having a heart is not a reason to go to the doctor. Every living human being has a heart. You kind of have to have a heart, okay? To be living, that is. All right, so that's not a reason to go to the doctor. So the suffix is going to tell you what's going on with that heart. Is there pain? Okay, or something like that. So the suffix will also tell you if the word is a diagnosis, why the patient needs help, or is it talking about a procedure? What did the physician do? Okay. Emia is a suffix that refers to the blood. So whatever's going on, it's happening in the blood. Itis, you know this already, right? Itis is inflammation, like laryngitis is an inflammation of the larynx. You know what that's going to have a sore throat. Okay. Lepsy is a seizure, stenosis, narrowing. And I always like to remember this, the way when I was first learning it, is I think about driving on the interstate and, there's a car broken down in the right lane. So now instead of having 4 lanes, the highway only has 3 lanes of working traffic, passing traffic. And of course, everybody's got a rubberneck. So, but now that 4-lane highway is narrowed, and you know what a traffic jam that causes, right? Okay, so I like to say the highway has a stenosis. Helps me remember. Oh, okay. It also helps me understand why a stenosis is bad. Because, for example, if there's a stenosis in an artery, that means the traffic that's backed up is your blood trying to get the oxygen to all of the cells. Oh, that's not good. Nuh-uh. All right. Spelling is absolutely, positively critical. Remember, I mentioned before, you could have a long word, although it doesn't have to be that long, where it looks like the same, and sometimes it even sounds the same, but the spelling is different, and it could be a totally different meaning. So here's an example. Aphasia. Aphasia with an S versus aphasia with a G. Now, they did not invite me to the meeting when they determined what would mean what and how it's going to be spelled, okay? This is not my fault. I would not have done this. But now you have to work a little harder to realize that aphasia with an S is a neurological inability to form speech, okay? So you will see aphasia with an S is it's not an unusual late effect of a stroke. If a patient has had a stroke, and it does have other causes, and I don't know if you've been reading it, but Bruce Willis, the actor from Die Hard, Bruce Willis has been diagnosed with aphasia. So he's not doing any more acting because he can't get the words in the right order in his brain. Okay. And then we have aphasia G. Aphasia G is the inability to swallow. So that is a problem for the digestive tract. This also happens to be a not unusual manifestation or late effect of a stroke, a CVA, but it's very, very different, as you can see. And you can also understand that the treatment plan would be very, very different, right? Okay. And so therefore, we have to understand what the word means, okay? Aphasia with an S, speech. Aphasia with a G, gut, digestive. All right, here's another one, is ileum and ileum. And again, they did not invite me to the meeting. I'm not responsible for this, and I can't fix it. So we just have to learn it. So ileum with an E refers to the end of the small intestine, right where it's just about to meet up with the large intestine, right there by the appendix in the lower right side of the abdomen, okay? Also in that general region is the ileum with an I, which is the uppermost part of the pelvis, okay? So again, ileum with an E, the end of the small intestine, but you know what? That is a part of the digestive system. But ileum with an I is part of the skeletal system. What, they think they don't talk to each other? That's so silly. Okay, so again, don't freak out, but just understand that starting now, day 1, you want to definitely pay attention. to what you're reading. Okay? All right. We also use abbreviations and acronyms. And oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Healthcare uses more abbreviations, and I guess that's understandable because we have all of these long, complicated words, right? Okay, so the first thing I want you to know and understand is never assume what an abbreviation means because it can mean multiple things. And the Joint Commission has a rule that says every hospital, every facility has to have an approved abbreviation list where they say you use this abbreviation, it means this and only this in these walls. Okay? But still, And your dictionary will have an appendix or a section with a lot of the most common abbreviations and acronyms. So that's really important for you to learn because, I'll tell you a funny story. When I was teaching on ground, I had a woman from a local hospital come in to speak to the class. And so as she was talking to the class, she was using so many abbreviations, and I was standing in the front of the class looking at the faces of my students, and I could tell that they were being very polite, but they were like, had no idea what she was talking about. So I started, you know how when they have press conferences, they have the person doing sign language in the box? Instead, I was explaining. I was standing on the side of her. And so when she said CVA, I said cerebrovascular accident is what she's referring to based on the context of what she was saying. Okay? So I also want this to be a habit you start building from day one is the first time you use an abbreviation, make sure you explain what you mean. Now, we don't have any essays or assignments here, but as you move forward through your career, it's important that you get in the habit of, if you're writing and you write AC, make sure you put anterior chamber parentheses AC, so that way your reader knows exactly which meaning of AC you are referring, and that way communication is clear. Because communication that is unclear in healthcare can be very deadly. We don't want that. All right. Please know I am in the course and in my email 7 days a week during the course. Okay? I promise you a response within 24 hours. Take note of this address. In the course, under class list, it links to the wrong email address for me that goes somewhere into one of the rings of Saturn, and I will never see it. So starting now, day one, I want you to make sure that you put a note to yourself that this is the only address I have where I can actually receive your emails, and then I can reply. Okay? All right. So this is part of your professional behaviors. You have any questions? There really are no stupid questions because you're here to learn. I mean, you're in this class because you don't know. Okay? So email me. We can email back and forth. We can set up an appointment to talk on the phone. We can set up an appointment to do a one-on-one Zoom or FaceTime. Whatever works for you. Okay? Just make sure you use my correct email address. Okay? All right. Have a fantastic day.